hydrogen ions and equal number of OH minus ion. Okay, since they are equal, water is considered as a neutral compound. Okay, so if you are adding hydrochloric acid into water, what will happen? Which ion will increase? Hydrochloric acid has what? Which ion? Yeah, so the hydrogen ion concentration will increase and OH minus will decrease because it will neutralize, right?
That will be more acidic?
That will be acidic. So if you are adding sodium hydroxide, what will happen? Which ion will increase?
OH minus?
OH minus will increase and H plus will go down. That solution will become more basic. So in a solution, how much H ions are there are indicated by using pH, which is called power of hydrogen, or we can also call the potential of hydrogen. Okay, so the measure of hydrogen ion, we know that hydrogen ion in water is always H3O plus, both are always same thing. So hydrogen ion or hydronium ion concentration are used for representing a scale indicating how acidic or basic a solution is. So if in that scale, if pH is lower than 7, that solution will be acidic. And greater than 7, that solution will be basic. Basic is also called alkaline solution because we learned alkali metals, they will form bases in water, okay? Then anything with the pH of 7 is called what? Neutral. And we learned one example, which is what?
H2O.
Okay. Now you can see an example for a pH scale. And it's showing both. There is a pH scale and pOH scale is there. We'll look at the top one now. Okay. Here, hydrogen ion concentration. Whenever you see a square bracket, okay, that is called concentration. Concentration or the amount per liter, that is called molarity, right? So when hydrogen ion concentration is decreasing, when you go to the right, you can see the decreasing, that means pH will increase. More hydrogen means lower pH and that will be highly acidic. Okay, so here we already said, okay, this is neutral and below 7 is acidic and above 7 is basic. Okay, so this one already did. Look at that. There are list of some compounds are given. The milk of magnesia is like a kind of Tams tablet. We are drinking that for stomach upset. It's like a liquid form of magnesium hydroxide. So here, look at the pH. We know that all these highlighted ones are acids because its pH is lower than 7, right? And other ones above are basic because it is
above 7.
And we have to order them in the increasing order of acidity. So stomach acid, which is hydrochloric acid, has a pH of 1.2. That is the most acidic. You have to write that there. And then it comes lemon, then tomatoes, saliva, milk. And I will write water as the least basic because water, we said water can act as both acid and base. Okay.
Tomatoes next.
Look at the values and you just do that in the, increasing order of pH. That means decrease,
It's first tomatoes. Saliva. And the most basic.
I have another attempt.
Okay, so the next one, basicity. Milk of magnesia has a higher basicity because it has higher pH. Then next one is egg, and you can write water as the lowest value of pH, right? So we notice that water can act as both acid and base. That's why we call water is what?
Neutral.
Water is neutral, but it can act as both acid and base because it has H plus and OH minus ion. So we will call a word that is called amphoteric. Amphoteric means, amphibians.
Amphibian? Yeah.
If they can live with both water and sand, right? Like that. Amphoteric means they can act as both acid and base. One good example is what? Water. Okay, so now, good? Okay, so now calculate again. The scale is repeated. Again, the same thing. You can see H plus ions are decreasing, so pH is increasing. So this side is highly acidic, and this side is less acidic. Okay, so pH is a mathematical representation of concentration of H plus ions or hydronium ions. What is meant by concentrated? Any idea?
How much of the solution
Yeah,
is
how much of the solute? Yes.
Yeah.
So depends on how much solute is there in a solution. Okay, how much solute per liter? Okay, per liters of solution. Okay, so we learned only one unit of concentration, which is molarity. Molarity is equal to what? Moles over liter. Okay, so here we are starting with 1 molar solution of acid. When you add water, that means it is diluting, right? So we can see the pH is increasing. So I'm going to write here, when the concentration is high, pH is 0. Then when concentration is decreasing, pH will become what? 14. And same way, if I have a base here, that means OH minus ion. If it is 1 molar, it has a higher pH, which is 14, highly basic. So when you add water into that, this is dilution. Okay, both are dilutions. Okay, so when you add water, the pH value will decrease. Okay, that's, you notice that, what is the highlight? Okay, you notice that if it is 0.1 molar, then the pH is 1, right? If it is 0.01, pH is 2. Okay, so there is a logarithmic, we know that it's a logarithmic scale. There is a 10 times difference between pH and the concentration. Okay, so we can see whenever the concentration increase, that means higher the concentration, more acidic it is. Okay, so same thing, there is a pOH scale is given. If there is more OH minus ion, that will be highly basic. Okay, so just like a pH, which measures H plus ion, we can also see this is a pOH scale. We are using only one scale, but you can also have pOH scale, which can measure what ion? OH minus ion. Okay, that is a concentration. The square bracket means concentration, molarity, concentration of OH minus ion. And the conductivity measurement shows that in water there is 10 to the power of negative 7 molar H plus ion and 10 to the power of negative 7 molar OH minus ion. So when you multiply the concentration of H plus and OH minus ion, you will get a 10 to the power of negative 40. That means if you find pH of this, that will be 7. pH of this, that will be 7. When you add that, you will get what? 14. So pH plus pOH, the sum will be always what? 14. So if pH is 2, pOH will be what? 12. So these are, we have to memorize multiple equation. So these are the first two. So all the equations are given there. The first two we just learned. This is the first one, pH plus pOH equal to 14. And H plus OH minus is equal to 10 to the power of negative 14. You don't need to worry about 1.400, okay? Okay, so if you look here, if you have POH, you will subtract from 14 to find pH. If you have H plus, you will divide with 10 to the power of negative 14 with that, you have to find OH minus, or vice versa. Okay, you can do both. Okay, now let's do calculation. Here, do the first ones, that's easy. pH is what? pH is 4.6.
Yeah.
So pOH will be
9.4.
yes, 9.4 because it is 14 minus 4.6, 9.4. Undo this one. pH is equal to 6.7, then pOH will be what?
Yeah, 7.3.
7.3. Okay, and there is one more like that. Do this also.
So the pOH is 12.8, so it's going to be 1.2.
1.2. Okay, so that is very easy, right? Maybe when you get a pH, you can just find this part and subtract. Okay, now, so that was the first equation. Second equation was what? H plus times OH minus is equal to 10 to the power of negative 14. Adding, it is 14. Otherwise, it is multiplying 10 to the power of negative 14. So here, this question, look at this one. H plus is equal to 1.0 times 10 to the power of 2 minus. That means this value is given, right? We are going to find OH minus. So you are going to divide 10 to the power of negative 14 with 1. If it is 1, you don't need to put that into calculator. And do you need a calculator for this calculation? Do you need a calculator here? Maybe. Okay. So you don't need actually. See, if there is x raised to a divided by x raised to b, the answer is a minus b. That means you just minus 14 minus, since it is 1, okay, minus 2.5. That means this will become positive. So that will be what? Minus 11.5. Yeah. Okay. Can you do this now? H plus is given, you are finding OH minus. So we have to do what? We have to divide 10 to the power of negative 14 with what our value is this. 2.0 times 10 to the power of negative 6. So 14 minus 6, it will be negative 8, right?
Yeah.
And 1 divided by 2 will be 0.5, half. 1 over 2, yeah. So it will be 0.5 times 10 to the power of negative 8. So this one, for doing this, there are multiple ways to do. I am going to teach you another equation to do this one. Here it is H plus is given. You can find the concentration of OH minus first, then go find the POH, then POH, like that. But I'm going to teach you another equation. Here, look at this. If you have H plus concentration. If you have H plus concentration, that means we are here, right? You can find pH using this equation. pH is equal to negative logarithm of
Right there, do you want a specific thing or just a general thing?
general.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So go ahead and write that equation first before we start. pH is equal to negative logarithm of concentration of H plus ion, and pH equal to negative logarithm of concentration of what? OH minus ion. So those are the next two equations we are going to use. Okay. POH is equal to that. pH is equal. It's very easy. It's a logarithm, and we are using log base what? Log. You know about logarithms? No. Okay. So there are two logs. One is log base e, and another one log base 10. We are using log base 10. Okay. Since it is base 10, log 10 means it is 1. Okay. Okay. Now look here. You have H plus concentration. We have to find what? pH. So pH is equal to negative log of 1.0. If it is 1, you don't need to put that on your calculator. Okay. So the answer will be plus 6. Just put that in the calculator. You can see that. Or,
Can I do it?
okay, so you need the negative on the bottom. Just press that. And there is a log.
Negative log
And then put that number into that. And exponent, you know how to put the exponent in? Yeah.
second log. 10 to the power of -6.
What do you got?
6.
Yeah, that's 6. So that means it is an acid, right? Because pH is below 7. So now we have to find the pOH. Then we have to use the equation. We know that pH plus pOH is equal to 14. Then pOH will be what? 14 minus 6 will be 8. Let's double check it. Okay, so now go backwards. Look at this equation. This one, you have a value of H plus ion, pH is given, you have to find H plus. Okay, so if you want to find OH minus from pOH, it will be 10 to the power of negative that number. Okay, just go down and write the equation. H plus is equal to 10 to the power of negative pH. That is, we are taking something called anti-log. It is the inverse of log, okay? So then OH minus is equal to 10 to the power of pOH. Okay, these are the equations. So we learned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equation, right? So you have to understand which equation you have to use whenever you get a question. Okay, look at this one. It is asking for H plus and you have pH. So we are going to use this equation. So H plus is equal to 10 to the power of negative pH, which is 10 to the power of negative 7.4. Put that on the calculator.
I just came to give you this. I had to run yesterday after school.
Okay.
Is it okay? Thank you.
So what are
10 to the power of negative 7.4. What is it?
hate this calculator.
Yeah. Can you change that into scientific notation on your calculator? Second DRG, which can select a scientific notation. A test is on Monday. Okay, so then yes. So going to write 2.5, 2.51, right? Yeah, 2.51, 10 to the power of negative. You have to look at just negative or positive.
Positive 7.
Okay. You didn't put the negative symbol, so it will be negative 7. Look at this, 10 to the power of negative 7.4, okay? Okay, now you have to find OH from the above. What is the answer?
Negative 7.5.
Different answer, right? Yeah, that's why I said. It is what? 10 to the, okay, 3.98 times 10 to the power of negative 8, okay. Okay, now we need to find the OH minus. We are using the first equation, okay. If you have H plus, OH minus is equal to what? You are dividing 10 to the power of negative 14 with this number. Okay, so go and divide that.
10 to the power of negative
14.
Oh, that's a 4. Negative 14 divided by 3.98. 0.98 to the power of 10 to the power of minus 8.
Yeah, so it's 2.51, okay. 2.51 times 10 to the power of
Negative 23.
negative 23? That is wrong. How come you will get that? Oh, okay. Okay, so just do like this. If you are confused, I'm going to divide 1 divided by 3.9. What is the answer? 2.56, right? And minus 14 minus 8 will be minus 6. Okay, now you have to complete this table. Okay, so here POH is given, right? Then pH will be 14 minus that will be 6. Okay, so since pH is 6, you are saying that solution is an acid. Okay, now OH minus, we know that it is 10 to the power of negative POH. That means it is 10 to the power of negative 8 and 10 to the power of negative 6. You understand how to do it? Okay, same thing.
And then do I have to write the M for molarity?
Yeah, if it is molarity, you have to write a molarity. Yeah, M is a concentration. Okay, so here OH minus concentration is given. So you can find POH, which is negative logarithm of 1.0 times 10 to the power of negative 7 molar. That will be 7. Okay, then pH will be 14 minus 7, that will be 7.
Molarity. Equal to 7 pH.
Will be 14 minus 7, right? Okay, so same thing, you have to do all the questions. And here, if it is HCl, remember HCl has H plus and Cl minus ion. Bye. So 0.0025 molar, then that means H plus will be what? Same amount. You don't need to write the equation. I'm saying if there is one hydrogen, the amount will be the same. So we are going to see pH is equal to negative log of H plus, and it will be equal to negative log of 0.0025 and calculate. So once you get pH, then POH will be 14 minus whatever value you are getting. Okay, and I'm going to change this into H2SO4 to make you understand something. So in H2SO4, how many hydrogen ions will be there? 2. That means you have to get this concentration. You have to get this and multiply with the 2. Okay, or something happened. You have to get this, then multiply with the 0.00. You convert that into scientific notation. That will be easy. And this is the value of H plus ion. So